Hi, hello, and welcome everybody to another episode of Natural Juan. And this episode will be completely unscripted, so please don't be surprised if I make a lot of mistakes here. Anyway, this time around we're going to discuss Mythic Variations 2, a part of a series about the Mythic GM emulator and its books. Now, I've discussed this before. This is wherein you have if you have a tabletop role-playing game and you don't have a GM, or your GM is just too lazy to GM for you, you can use this system. So anyway, Mythic Variations 2 is made by the same company, Wordmill Publishing, and is written by Tom Pigeon. Now, what you need to know about this is it's designed to work with the previous books of Mythic, like the Red Book, the main core rule book, Mythic core rulebook, the Mythic GM emulator, and the Mythic Variations, wherein you can plan a whole history for your character and possible scenarios that they'll run into. Anyway, the thing about this new part of Mythic Variations is it's designed to replace the old way you used to play. So let me show you. This is the old fate chart, and these are the tables you can use for the stuff that happens. Like, if you wait, let's bring up our digital dice here so you understand. I can demonstrate something. Taking a while. Anyway, if you like what I do here, please feel free to subscribe to my channel and hit that bell for notifications. Also, I'd like to make a special shout out to Mr. Jonathan Green, my patron in Patreon. If you would also like to support what I do here, please feel free to check out my description below, and you'll see there my Patreon information and a PayPal and Gcash account if you'd just like to make a quick and easy donation. Anyway, so yeah, now we got our dice up. So, how does this work, you ask? Well, in the previous one, let's go. For example, I will ask a yes or no question. It's an answer oracle. It's designed to answer yes or no. So I'm going to ask, will it rain in the game? Is it raining in the game? But it's kind of sunny, so we'll go with unlikely. Now, so it's an average here, unlikely, so we'll be at 35. So we take a D100, 100-sided dice, or two 10-sided dice, and just reading them separately. So you have, like 7 and 1 is 71. And anything above 35 is no. And anything below that, 35 and below, is yes. So let's see. Is it raining in the game? 30. Yes, it means it's raining. So you get how that works now. Okay, well, Mythic Variations changes that. It introduces an entirely new system of play. So let's check it out. Let's check out first the fate check. Now, this one is a little different. As you can see, the table is a lot smaller, but it's still a little bit confusing in some parts, but hey. Okay. Here, you're going to use the same thing again. Two 10-sided dice, but they will be one. You add them together. How it works. See, your target number is always 11. Your target number is always 11. So what happens is, and likelihood adds 2, and unlikelihood subtracts. So let's try something here. I'll use the same example. Is it raining in the game? Suppose this time, okay, let's go back with unlikely so you don't get confused. So unlikely minus 2. So now let's roll for it and see what happens. Remember, if it's 11 above, if the result is 11 above, it's a yes. If it's below that this time, it's a no. So let's see what happens. 5. and we apply the modifier of unlikely, which is -2. And it's 3, right? Unless I'm getting my math wrong again. It's a 3. And that is no. Definitely no. So, and the chaos factor. So definitely no. And the chaos factor here only goes from 3 to 6. So 3, 4, 5, 6. But it's not, the chaos factor here cannot go below 3, and it cannot go above 6. See, that's a major change. And another thing that it introduces is the chaos die. The chaos die is another D10, another 10-sided dice. So what'll happen is, see, what'll happen is this, like, okay, let me demonstrate. Let's ask another question here. So, how about this? Is it night in the character's room? We'll say, sure thing. It's very likely. +6. That's a huge bonus, +6. And we'll put the chaos factor. So the chaos factor here is also dependent on the player. So favor, let me explain this about the chaos factor first. When you talk about favorable, it means it's good for the player character. If it's unfavorable, it's bad for the character. So Knight here, maybe Knight will give him a bonus in stealth, so it's favorable. So yeah, he gets another +2. It's okay. Let's see what'll happen. 16. Then we add +6. That's 22. And a +2. That's a 24. Unless I'm getting my math wrong again. And you have a 24. Now we're going to roll the chaos die, which is just one 10-sided dice. Let's see. 9. It's an odd number, meaning it doesn't really affect the outcome that much. However, as shown here, suppose that with our 24 we also got say a 6. We'll have a random event because they are both even. And if they are both odd, suppose the result was 21, then 9. They are both odd. They are exceptional. If the numbers are the same, meaning suppose we get 2 9s, then it'll be an exceptional and random event. Yeah, that's what'll happen. Now, the next part of Mythic Variations 2 is the detail check. This is more about how things go, or what are the things that you will find in an area. In the previous GM emulators, we just had event meanings, actions, and event meanings, subjects. And we rolled a 100-sided die, a D100, to figure out what would happen. Example, we'll roll for action, 1, attainment. We'll roll again, 2. Oh, sorry, wrong dice. Let's do that again. 7. Let's see here. Work hard. Let's see. Next roll. 12. Work hard, opposition. Now, this can mean that the bad guys that are opposing us are working hard. Maybe they're building fortifications and walls and castles and stuff to make sure that we, the heroes, can't easily attack them. But that's different here. We have here favors, disfavors, focus. This is the subject, emotion, how the character feels. So remember, when it's favors, it means it's good for a given player, for a given for a given character. Disfavors means it's bad for them. Favors can mean they find loot or money. Disfavors can mean they get attacked or a monster pops out. Stuff like that. Now, here's the detail check. Let's explain them. So, focus NPC, it's centered on the NPC, and we figure out which NPC it is. Maybe it's an elf character or something. Maybe if it's the elf character and focus NPC comes out, we'll say, oh, maybe he wants to talk to us. He wants us to, our mission will be to protect the forest that the elf lives in, the wood elf. Okay, focus PC means it's focused on the main character. Suppose our main character is a barbarian. It could mean, especially if it's his quest, maybe he finds out a detail about his enemies. Focus thread, this focuses on a given story path or plot. Favors NPC means it's good for the NPC. Let's go back to the wood elf example. Suppose we get the favors NPC, that means good stuff happens to him. Maybe he gets a treaty or a contract with the local king or lord, and he gets to keep, or he gets protection for his forest. Favors PC, this can mean something good happens to the PC. Like I said, let's go back to the barbarian character. Maybe he finds a chest full of gold and stuff like that. Favors thread. Maybe it holds on to the story. In the quest of the barbarian to find, the person he wants revenge against, maybe he finds a clue where his enemy is. Disfavors just means it's bad. So disfavors NPC, something bad happens to the character. Maybe the wood elf's forest burns down. Disfavors PC, this means that something bad happens to the barbarian. Maybe he learns that the person he wants revenge on is aware of him, is aware of his quest for revenge, and tries to hire people to stop him. Disfavors thread means it's unfavorable in the story. Another idea would be the guy that the barbarian wants to get revenge on is aware, so what he does is he moves elsewhere, so that where it's harder for our barbarian hero to find him. Anger causes anger in the PC. Like maybe he learns that the bad guy he's hunting kills even more innocent people. And sadness, that could be a part of it too. Maybe he learns that the guy he's hunting kills one of his loved ones. Fear. Maybe he learns that the guy he's hunting might also be, I don't know, maybe he's also an undead monster. Maybe he's actually a vampire. Calm means this one is slightly better. Like, it's not as problematic. Maybe things are going good for the barbarian guy, and there's no reason for him. Or it could also mean a short break from the stuff that's happening. Like maybe he camps out at a local town and has food with the people, happiness, this can mean maybe he finds love or something. Maybe another barbarian woman falls in love with him. Well, I'm crazy about barbarian women. But yeah, that's an example. Courage means he feels inspired about something. Maybe something good. Maybe when he finds love, maybe that barbarian woman tells him to, keep fighting the good fight and stuff like that. Yeah, here's an idea. Here's a bigger example, like this detective hunting vampires and witches. What's his name? Victor Milgrew. And here are more tables, meaning tables, just like here. Although they're a little different. There's the descriptor, an adjective of sorts. And then you have actions. Actually, you don't need to use them together, but they can actually combine to make something, more awesome. Now, for the event check. This is for when things happen, like just like here. Event focus table. Again, it's changed a little, but not by much. This is the standard event focus table. Now, behavior check. This is the part that I love the most about this version of Mythic Variations. Like, this can determine how a given NPC reacts, because this is the biggest problem when you're playing tabletop role-playing games alone. It's that you're the same person that's going to give life to a given character. But how are you going to do that? How are you going to give variations to that, right? Anyway, this solves that. So yeah, there's the identity. This is who or what is the NPC. The identity can be, for example, he's a guard, or if he's an enemy NPC, maybe he's the vampire. Let's go with the vampire example. He's your enemy, he's a vampire. So what is his next up is personality. What kind of person is this character? So okay, maybe the vampire is like he's the raging vampire type, like he's always angry. The next is activity. What is he doing? As an activity, we can say he's on the hunt. So okay. The disposition table is another thing. This is important if you want to decide how the character will react to you. Since we're going to find out if maybe, like for example, if passive, maybe the vampire character isn't aware of us yet, since we're the heroes. Okay, here's a scenario. Maybe we're the heroes and we're trying to kill said vampire. So passive means he's not aware of us yet. Moderate is maybe he sees us, but he just sees us as food. He doesn't take us seriously. He doesn't believe we're a threat to him yet. Active means he realizes, oh, they're vampire hunters. I better be careful around them. Aggressive, now that means he knows what we are. He knows we're dangerous, and he's out to get us first. Make sense now? Okay. The theme is what's happening. This is very important because this is how everything else will fit together. This is what will determine how the NPCs react. If this is a high school drama, of course, maybe the vampire might even be friendly, Twilight style. He might even sparkle. No. Suppose the theme... Okay. Now, so the theme we'll be going with is horror then. We're hunting said vampire. Maybe he's a monster. So that's what we're going with. We're not going the Twilight route, sorry. Yeah, so it's about putting it all together. So what's going to happen? Theme action, since this is horror, maybe the vampire is continuing to hunt people and hide from the authorities. NPC continues is he's just doing their current action. Again, the activity we talked about is he's hunting. So he continues to hunt. If we roll, like for example, if we take it up a notch, maybe he's hunting more people. When NPC continues -2, maybe he's doing something else. Maybe he tries to do, maybe he's less focused on hunting this time. He's just looking for prey, but he's not going to go all the way out there to just attack them. NPC action means he takes action. So maybe he realizes we're out there and he starts attacking us. Maybe, and if it's, now depending if it's -4 or +4, it could mean if it's -4, he decides not to bother with us at all. If it's +4, he'll begin pursuing us aggressively. Next is Npc Action Table 2. This can be more for neutral characters. Maybe you got an old Van Helsing type character who's helping our character. We roll here. Again, using 2d10, 2 10-sided die. And he tries to help us. So he talks exposition. He tells us, oh, the vampire is out there and he's... best way to kill him is with garlic or something like that, or maybe there's something special to him that we need to get to, that kind of thing. And gives something, maybe he gives us a special weapon that we can use to harm the vampire. Changes the theme. Maybe the Van Helsing character is in love with the vampire. See there? Out of nowhere. But I don't know. I mean, that would be a big change, I think. Because like I said, I was going for horror first, right? Changes the descriptor. Maybe something else happens. Maybe the vampire isn't a vampire at all. Or maybe the vampire isn't evil. Maybe the vampire we're hunting is actually good. And there's another vampire in the area that's actually the evil one. Makes sense now? And our Van Helsing character, he's hunting that vampire. See? Acts out of self-interest. He does something that's good for him. Causes harm. Maybe he thinks where we, the heroes, are with the vampire and attacks us instead. That can be an idea. Here's an explanation of what to do. A more in-depth explanation, I guess, than what I just did. Performs an ambiguous action. This means like he does things that seem mysterious. Yeah. When you say... Another one is changes the descriptor. Like I said, maybe the vampire, we misjudged the vampire. He's not as evil as we think he is. Okay. Now, another thing to consider is actions versus conversation. So it's either, you can interpret this as combat versus social, but you know, it all boils down either to your GM or what you and your group decide on. If you do not have a GM, it's better if you decide on this as a group. Now, let's move on to the next part, a statistics check. What you expect from the game. Your expected baseline is what you want your story to be. So we went with the horror baseline. So we're expecting bad things to happen, right? Okay. So PC baseline is what to come up with. So maybe, okay, let's go back to our previous PC, the Barbarian. A barbarian hunting the vampire. Okay, that sounds pretty good. So this is what he's doing. This kind of this part, the statistics check, it's not exactly a way to replace the way the game plays entirely, but it can do that. So this can, like, we can determine, is the character hurt? So we roll for the attributes to find out if it works. So here we are. So a weak attribute. So for example, the barbarian attacks. The barbarian attacks the vampire. So he's strong, right? So there's like a 50% plus 50%. So he attacks the vampire. And wait. Does he hurt the vampire, for example? So we talk about strong plus 50%. So whatever comes out, we got a 50%. 11, that's already a yes, but that's not enough. So we get another 50%, rounded up, it's a 6, so 17. That means he really does hurt the vampire pretty good. So that's how the statistics checks work. So anyway, that's it for this quick look and short demo of Mythic Variations 2 by Tom Pigeon and published by Wordmill Publishing. So I hope you enjoyed it. You enjoyed this short demo, and if you did, please feel free to subscribe to my channel and hit that bell for notifications. Also, if you want to support my channel and what I do here, feel free to check out my Patreon information in the description below, along with my PayPal and Gcash account in case you just like to make a quick and easy donation. And yeah, as an announcement, I'll say that I won't be doing as many videos as I did previously, but of course, you can bet that most of my videos will have better quality than before, which were usually hurried and stuff. Okay, so that's it. I'll see you guys next time. Natural Juan out.